Back on CBS Sports HQ, live from the PGA Championship. This video moments ago, Scottie Scheffler looking to begin his round here at Valhalla after, in some terms, an eventful morning. Arrested, charged, released, handcuffs on his wrists just a handful of hours ago, and now here on 10T, the par 5. He's going off the back here for his second round to start his day. Scheffler appears to be leaking a bit right. Scottie's round officially underway. Questions on whether or not he would make it to his tee time. Finds the right rough off his first hole. We are back here in studio. Joe Musso alongside Rick Gehman and Kyle Porter as details continue to come to the surface. Scottie, over the next 5 hours, will be focused on golf, but we have plenty more to focus on, as well as the police report has come to light here, KP. Some illuminating verbiage within.
Yeah, there really is. I'm going to read a portion of it. There's a lot of news breaking right now, a lot of details coming out. It said the subject refused to comply. So talking about Scottie Scheffler, obviously with his arrest this morning. Subject refused to comply and accelerated forward, dragging the detective to the ground. The detective suffered pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee, transported to the hospital for further medical treatment by emergency medical personnel.
We appreciate you bringing that to light here as more information does come to us. I think it might be worth a rehash as some of you may be joining us. We know all of this occurring early in the morning. If we could take a look at that timeline, our folks back in our Florida studios, if we could throw that up here, we'll go on about it. But it began with what was the most unfortunate circumstance of this entire situation. At 5:09, there was an automotive accident on premises just outside of Valhalla Golf Club, resulting in a pedestrian fatality. Again, heightening all senses and even deepening the police presence around the golf course. At 6:01, just about an hour later, just shy of that, Scottie Scheffler was detained, put in handcuffs, as reported by Jeff Darlington of ESPN, an eyewitness report, quite forcibly put against a police car after failing to stop as instructed by an officer. We read the police report. That did incur some bodily harm. That police officer has been treated for injuries in that situation. Scottie Scheffler also released here on the premises about 35 minutes prior to his tee time. Small bucket of balls, some putts, and now on course for his second round off 10, the backside here. We appreciate you joining us here on CBS Sports HQ as we bring you the latest of this developing situation at the PGA Championship. That will overshadow any golf shot hit here, KP, but we do try and refocus on the tournament at hand, as Scottie Scheffler does as well. How does he do that here on Friday?
Well, it was really interesting. I was just out there on the range, kind of walked with him from up by the... Sorry, there is a lot going on right now. Kind of walked with him from up by the clubhouse down to the driving range. Tried to get in and kind of talk to some of his people. Got kind of pushed away quickly there, but he seemed in good spirits. And, you know, obviously he's not going through his normal routine. He's not going through the hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of prep to get into a major championship round. But he does not seem to be... Obviously, you're going to be thinking about it a little bit, Rick, but he doesn't seem to be massively bothered. I think there are some guys, if you're new, if this is your first major, if this is your second major, if you're easily bothered by this this type of thing as it relates to the golf, it's going to be a tough round, right? But I think Scottie has the ability to compartmentalize, to he talks about presence a lot, to get present and to stay present throughout this round today.
It'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to settle into the round. We talk about that a lot. I mean, we talked about it with Tiger Woods in his opening round yesterday. Talk about it basically all of these golfers, especially at major championships. When are you going to be able to settle in? And he hits his drive there on number 10, his first hole of the day, to the right side. I think making a couple of pars, getting everything under your belt, rolling in a few putts that were dead in the heart. That's what calms the nerves on the golf course. And then I assume he is going to try to hope that calms the nerves for things that have happened kind of outside the golf course.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out, but I think safe to say that the thoughts that occupied Scottie Scheffler's head last night going to bed on the round that he amassed and the thoughts that he took to the first tee, far different. Let's talk about that relation to Xander Schauffele on the top of the leaderboard. What was that thought going to bed last night? Where's he got to be at the end of today, Rick?
Yeah, there's a lot of variables, right? And there's rain in the forecast. It's raining pretty heavily and actively right now. We have Xander Schauffele, who's extended out a 3-shot lead. The good news for Scottie Scheffler is he has the firepower to make up any kind of gap, but I would expect that he's got to be within 4 or 5 shots of the lead to feel comfortable. There's still a lot of golf to be played, and that might be over the, that second round might be over the course of 1 or maybe even 2 days. It's really hard to predict the way this championship is going to be scheduled moving forward, but I think if Scottie is in the mix, 4 or 5 shots, start to matriculate yourself up the leaderboard on Saturday, be in a position to be within arm's reach on Sunday, that's kind of the style of golf that we're expecting to see.
Yeah, I think the problem for some of these guys is if Scottie gets into the lead, he's so good at playing with the lead because he doesn't give it up. He just pounds the middle of greens. Think about TPC Sawgrass the last couple of years. Think about the Masters in 2024 and then back in 2022. He's so relentless, and that's the word that you hear from players out here from tee to green. He's so relentless. He pounds green. So if somehow Xander drops back a little bit and Scottie gets into the lead, or even a Brooks. Scottie and Brooks play major championship golf very similarly, actually. They don't look the same, and stylistically they're different, but the way they go about it and their strategy is very similar. And so I think Xander, he needs to hold on to this lead, Rick, and really control the golf tournament going into the weekend, because if he cedes control to one of those guys, a Brooks or a Scottie, who goes out and shoots 64 today, even a Rory, that's going to be a real problem for him to try and make up that ground on Saturday, Sunday.
KP, you said something interesting this morning. There's been no neck pull, no player in this field, no situation at home awaiting the birth of a child that's been able to take Scottie Scheffler off his routine on course. This is a circumstance, that if anything would take him out of that safe place that he feels when he is playing golf. How affirming would a rounded red numbers today be?
Yeah, I think so. I was actually just out on the range talking to CBS Sports Trevor Immelman about this, and he had the exact same thought that you and I were talking about earlier, which is it's been a crazy 5 or 6 days for Scottie Scheffler, right? He's got he kind of gets to the golf course at maybe not the time he would if he wasn't having a kid. The arrest, he's got a different caddy on the bag on Saturday. So there's all these extenuating circumstances, but man, Joe, he's answered the bell every time, right? We have no evidence that he's not going to answer the bell. So I think today's round is interesting. I don't know that it defines Scottie's career or this week or anything like that, but I think if he answers the bell once again, it just raises my level of expectations for him in terms of what he's mentally, emotionally, and physically capable of.
And I expect a great one. I expect him to answer the bell. Like Kyle said, there is no evidence that he is flappable. He has been unflappable in the face of just about everything. The demeanor, I agree with Kyle. Kyle had an up-close view of it. It looked like even if he was faking it, even if he is just trying to convince himself that everything is okay and he's at the golf course and everything's going to be fine, sometimes perception is reality, and that's all you need to do. And he can decompress tonight or after the tournament, but I expect Scottie Scheffler, because even without his bad stuff, is still better than a lot, or even without his best stuff, is still better than a lot of this field. I expect him to go out, put something in red numbers out there, and continue to apply pressure on the rest of this leaderboard.
Scheffler unable to work that drive right up to the green, looking to get up and down for par at the first. We will have you up to the minute with everything Scottie Scheffler and elsewhere here at the 106th playing of the PGA Championship. News both on and off course. You're in the right place. CBS Sports HQ got you covered all day long.